Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Wilson for Wilson's Hobbies. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do a simple editing workflow. I'll just show you my workflow, which I think is simple enough that you could follow for Davinci Resolve Studio. And hopefully, it can carry on to different editing programs if you want to. So what I do is I'll obviously open up the program, and I'm going to show you Davinci Resolve Studio booting up, and it's Studio 18 right now. This is the paid version, and I have several projects that I was working on. But this is your project manager, and here you can delete the project locally or in the cloud or within a network. And so this is where you can delete the project and save some disk space if you so happen to please to do that or wanting to do that. So let's go to make a new project right down here. New project. And you can title it up, and I'll call it Simple Video. Okay. This video that I'm showing you here, it should want to say maximum of 20 minutes. So it's going to be fast and a rundown. Okay, so you have Davinci Resolve Studio. This is what you're probably going to see right here. It's this opening screen. It's opened up on one of the tabs. So there's several tabs here. And right now it's on Cut tab. If you follow where I'm at on the bottom of the screen, where my mouse is at, is where these tabs are. So let's go over here to the left of that. We have the Media tab. I usually don't work with that tab, but you can. This just shows you all of your media that you can put into your project. Next up is the Cut tab, which we were just on. And this is where you get simple edits. You can edit your video simple. You can drag and drop everything simply on this timeline. To get finer cuts and get advanced tuning on your video editing, you go to Edit tab, and this is where I work on my videos the most. And the next tab over is called Fusion tab. I really don't know what that is, to tell you the truth, and so I'm not going to guess what it is, but I've made plenty of videos without needing to use Fusion. We'll go next to the Color tab. Color tab is where you, basically what it says, you just change the colors around. You can do chroma key. You can take out colors. You can add colors. You can add some contrasts and highlights and shadows to your video. And we'll get to that in a little bit. And then next up after that is your ADR. ADR is where you can do audio recording or voiceovers or add your own music to it if you want to. If you play, if you have a drum machine or a MIDI piano or electric guitar or something, anything that records audio, this is where you can manage it all. And last but not least is your Deliver tab. And your Deliver tab is basically going to help you export your video, has all the options that you need to fine tune your video to be exported out. And we'll show you that later. So we're going to go back to the Edit tab right here. And there's a third tab over from the left. And I'm assuming at this point you have pieces of footage you want to work with. And this program works very well with MP4 files. I like to work with MP4 files. It's just really easy to work with. Now, if you're using like Insta360 video, you would have to work with your Insta360 footage in the Insta360 Studio and then make it a MP4 file. For some reason, I haven't been able to edit 360 footage in Davinci yet. I'm sure there's a way, but I haven't found a way for that just quite yet. But we're going to import some footage here. I'm going to import some media by right-clicking on the No Clips and Media pool right here. Import media. And I'm just going to import everything I have in this file. This is just clips from my last video I made, and it's already up on YouTube of me doing my first time snowshoeing. So I put it together, and it came out pretty good, I think. Now I was going to ask, change project frame rate. So you're probably going to have some settings already in your project, and I'm going to show you real quick. I actually selected don't change. So let's see what our project settings are right now. In the upper left hand corner, you're going to see, file, edit, trim, where my mouse is at. you go to File and just select Project Settings down in the bottom. And these are your settings right here. So timeline frame rate 24, playback frame rate 24. So this is what we had set up initially, I believe, and the frame rate of the video might be different what the project setting was. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete all this, and I'm going to re-import all these footage, and it might ask me that again. Yeah, change project frame rate. So we're going to press change. Now let's see what our project settings say now. Notice that the timeline frame rate changed to 29.97. That is going to be very important. Frame rate is basically how many frames are shown per second. The more frames you have, the more smoother it's going to look. It's going to look a little bit more flowy and realistic, whereas like 24 to 30 frames per second looks more cinematic, whereas 24 is basically the standard cinematic frame rate. Okay, so we still have like a blank slate here. Right here where my mouse is at, this is a timeline. And there's so many options you can adjust. But just for right now, you're going to see this timeline. You're going to see the window where your screen is going to be at when you see your footage on the timeline. And over here, there are options for windows to be opened up. So we can open up the inspector window, which is already ready to go for us, metadata, and mixer. And you can have all these on if you wanted to, or two of them on, two at a time on, it looks like. But most of the time I have inspector on, and you're going to see things pop up once I drag something on this timeline. So let's drag something on the timeline. Let's drag this on with footage of me driving. And as you notice, you're going to see like these little scroll bars available to us, so we can scroll over and look more down the timeline, or we can shrink our timeline a little bit so we can just see more of what's available to us. Kind of like zooming out from a map. Zoom out where my mouse is at. It's a little toggle. So this is all zoomed out, and obviously on the timeline it shows how much time has elapsed or is available to us at a certain point of time, or how long the duration of the video is, just based on when it ends and starts. So let's add this here, this here, this here, and we'll just work with those pieces of footage, okay? Now, with each pieces of footage in your media pool, you can also play it from where it's at. So I'll just click on that, pieces of footage here, and play from it. A little cumbersome. So you can know what you're working with, you know what I'm saying? You can have it, like say you're looking at this part of the footage right now, and you want, like say if I want to drag from the timeline, from the media pool into the timeline, from this moment in the video into the timeline, that's what you'll get, if that makes any sense. So if I drag this in, oh, okay, I lied. Never mind, forget what I said. But you can view your timeline, your videos from the media pool before you put it in the timeline. Okay, so let's do a quick, simple edit. What you need to do is, let me go to no cam here, and you probably was wondering what I was talking about when I said inspector, metadata, and mixer, because my camera was in the way. I do apologize. Now my camera is out of the way, and we have all of these options to us here: mixer, metadata, and inspector. You see all these things pop up for us. The mixer is for the audio, and the inspector is, I love this thing. You can do so much with this. Now, the aspect of our video is already in 16:9. So, as you can see, if we zoom this clip out just a little bit, when we watch this on a 16:9 monitor, obviously we're going to see a cropped pieces of footage, and we can move the position of it around with these toggles in the transform area for the X and Y axes. Make it really small. We can zoom it in if we wanted to. We can rotate a little bit. Get some rotation. Maybe that your horizon wasn't leveled out, so you can fix the horizon that way. So there's a lot of options for us here. You can crop your footage if you don't like, how your cropping of your video came out. So, all right, simple edit. So just play it out, know what the story is of your footage, and that will make it a little easier for you when you do this. Okay, guy is driving. Okay, that's too much driving, so we'll stop here. And we'll make a cut there. So how do we make a cut? Well, if you notice right on the screen, we have this scrubber here. And it's showing that it could slice right through the footage. Rightfully so. Now, this is not where we're going to cut, but it just gives you an idea where we are at on the video. So, by using that as a guide, we can actually use the cut tool by pressing B or selecting it with the mouse. We're going to press B, and then we're just going to mouse over. Now, if you mouse over the footage, you're going to see that the screen reacts to where your mouse is at. So you can fine tune where you want to start and end things or remove things. But there's a little sliver of red showing up on the clips, so it shows you where it's going to cut. And then I'm going to just cut right on that marker that I had right there. Right? And let's say we're all set with that. Let's keep searching our footage. Looks like I'm going to say something here, and we're going to make a cut right there. And I'm going to delete all this stuff here that you see where my mouse is at. And I'm just going to select it with the select tool. If we press A, that can bring us to the select mode. And we can select this piece of footage. And we're going to press delete. Now, if I press delete, this piece of footage is going to meet with this piece of footage over here. If I press backspace, which I'm going to do right now, when the video plays out, there's going to be a gap. Nothing moved along with it, right? So let's do a Control Z to bring that back and redo that mistake. Select this and press delete. It's just going to move things down for us. Look at that. Okay, so next. Hi everybody, what's going on? This is Wilson. Today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to do, for the very first time, snowshoeing. Okay, so let's say we want to stop that piece of footage right there. Let's just say that's where we want to cut things. Just keep doing the same thing. Make a cut. Select what you don't want. And then press the delete key. First, find out if the trails were in the always on this kind of trail. And I'll just start right there.
And we're on the Sanford Springvale Rail Trail. You've probably seen this many times in my videos.
If you press spacebar, it will pause the video. I guess I'm going to select and cut again. Delete. I'm going to delete this. And let's see. Now, you might, if you were already thinking of it in the video, maybe you wanted to do something funny. Like maybe you want the video to look like you appeared in thin air, right? So you can just mess around with the editing techniques. And we're back, guys.
Many times in my video.
So let's look at what we just cut so far. So we can just bring this scrubber all the way back to the beginning. Hi everybody, what's going on? This is Wilson. Today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to do, for the very first time, snowshoeing.
And we're on the Sanford Springvale Rail Trail. You've probably seen this many times in my videos.
And we're back, guys. Okay, so I'll cut there, and let's just get right into the action. Let's get the part where I'm just actually on the snowshoes. Here we go. So, like I said, you can, maybe the footage looks like it's too far out. Maybe you just don't look like the way the things were were shot. Maybe you didn't like the angle, or you can mess around with that. Like, look at this. This looks like it's kind of off center, right? So we're gonna toggle the rotation angle just a little bit and kind of straighten it out. We can zoom in so there's nothing showing up. And we can kind of like position. Maybe we want to make it look like we're coming from this side in the video, or oops, from this way. You know what I mean? You can. It just depends on your style and how you want the video to look. So, like I said, you just got to remember how you filmed your video and how you shot it, and that will help you edit your video. If you want to reset all the transformations that you made in between clips, like if you make a transformation like in one clip to the other, you have to. There's one way to do this. Like, say, I'm going to make an example here. I'm going to reset this clip over here, the transformations of everything on here. So this is all reset. But what if I wanted to take the transformations from this clip here, where it was at an angle, and transfer it on this clip next to it, or any other place on the timeline? Well, you take your source clip and just Control C, right? And then go to your next clip that you want to paste those changes. But instead of pressing Control V for paste, right click on the clip, the target clip, and select Paste Attribute. It's actually Control V. But you get finer control this way by adding what you want into the footage. Like, do you want to maintain the timing? Do you want to add all the video attributes? Yes, I do. All the video attributes that we just controlled. All the audio attributes, if there was any. And then apply. And then you're going to notice it changed. We can do Control Z, again, to fix our mistake. And that's just like a simple edit, right? So let's say I want to fade out. Let's just say we want to end our video right here. You want to do a fade out. You know what I'm talking about. A fade out is when the footage just fades to black. Well, in the upper right hand corner of the footage, there's a little tiny icon once you mouse over the upper right hand corner or the upper left. But if we're doing this from the end of the footage, it's the upper right. You select that icon and just drag it over as long as you want and just see how the fade is for your liking. I think that's good. We can do the same with the audio. You just select the audio portion of the clip and just drag it. Drag it out. You see these little triangle things that came out? There, watch. Listen. See, it faded out. You can add effects in between the clips to give some like transition effects on your footage. So like if we go to upper left hand corner, you're going to see this little tab that says effects. We can do all sorts of effects on each of these clips. Like we can make this driving footage look like it was filmed in night vision, I guess, right? So we'll just drag that on the clip. Looks ugly. So I'm going to do Control Z. Digital glitch. Here's one.
Hi, everybody.
Now that effect was done in real time, and your computer is going to need to take some time to process that. And you really should have a really good graphics card when you work with Davinci Resolve. But let's do the video transitions. There are video transitions that you can put in your toolbox. Let's do iris, crossover, cross iris. That will be a nice transition to put from the driving into showing my face. So let's do that.
Hi, everybody.
You see that? You like that transition?
Hi everybody,
We'll put another transition over here. We'll do a barn door transition. Oops, what happened here?
Hi everybody, what's going
Oh, I did something on my footage. My bad. There we go. I fixed it.
And we're on the Sanford Springvale
See that barnyard door?
snowshoeing. And we're on the Sanford Springvale.
There you go. Now, let's say you want to add some titles. So let's put a title in the beginning of this. This is really easy. So also within the effects box, not only do you have audio transitions, but you also have titles. And you can add a title however you want it. And if you mouse over a lot of these titles, you know, the box of it, it will show you what it will look like. If you kind of move your mouse along the box of what it says, you can see you know, how the effect will play out. Most of the time. It'll just give you a preview. There you go. Just kind of drag your mouse over the box. So we're just going to do a normal title, and you just drag it. You drag it into your timeline, and preferably drag it on top of your footage, like that. So I'll just place it. You can place it anywhere. Place it anywhere. You can size it down. You know, make it long as you want it to be. Your title could be anything. So we'll call this Wonderful Snowshoe Adventure, right? And then it will appear once it's moused over on the timeline. Again, you can put a fade in and out on your title. Okay. We can extend it a little bit longer. You can change the position of where you want it to be. The X and Y axes and for the position. You can zoom in, out. You can change the alignment of it. Everything. You can do tracking of, you know, where you want it to track. But that's a little bit. You can change the color of it. So let's make it red. You can change the drop shadow. And the drop shadow right here. And you just got to set the offset for that to work. So you just adjust the sliders until you see some kind of backdrop. And you can change the color of your backdrops if you wanted to. And there's more here. You just got to play around with things, you know. Now keep in mind you're going to see a box up here that says title. So you're actually working with the title. If you're working with the settings, you're basically going back to Inspector tab for the title itself. So that's going to control cropping. Say if we wanted to crop it, you know, I wouldn't really need to use any of this. There might be certain reasons why I need to use this, but you know, I can change the rotation of things and, you know, again, just play around. All right, for the sake of this video, I have to speed this up. Now let's say we're gonna, you know, we add some color to our footage. Maybe we film this all in a flat color profile, so we need to add some color, right? Okay, so on the bottom, again, we're gonna go to the color tab. Press the color tab, and you just select each piece of footage, and it's going to come up as thumbnails. So this is basically a timeline, but they're thumbnails for each clip instead of the normal timeline. Now underneath it, you're going to see a simple timeline on the bottom. I wouldn't need to worry about that, but it just shows you where on the timeline these clips are at, and you see things start to highlight. And it shows you where all the transitions are and stuff too, right here. Okay, so let's start with the first one, and we just want to maybe we just want a simple color adjustment for each and every clip. So what we need to do is I would honestly say, if it looks too dark, increase the gamma. If it's too bright, decrease the gamma. Now, if you want to lift the shadows up a little bit, depending on if you lifted or decreased the gamma, you can do a lift of the shadows with lift and adjust it with this little radial um, scroll wheel here on the bottom where my mouse is at. We'll make it a little bit darker, make the shadows come out. Maybe you want your shadows to be a little bit more greener or reddish. You can select it from the center and just kind of work your way out. And let's say we want to make the shadows a little bit more reddish. So you can add some red tone, or maybe you want to look blue. See how everything just changes on us? Let's have a little bit of a blue profile. We'll increase our gamma a little bit more. Now let's say we wanted to increase our saturation. Maybe we want more color, just to saturate the colors a little bit. Well, again, right on the bottom you see more sliders, or you'll see more values in which you can increase or decrease. And we're just going to increase our saturation a little bit. Just let things pop. Notice how things are popping now? So I just do it like that. Contrast. It's basically pretty much almost like gamma, saturation together. It's hard to explain. But it's just contrast just really brings out the darknesses or increases the highlights. Okay, so that's what we have there. We have other things like pivot. You can add more detail into your footage. Like, let me just zoom in. I don't know if this live stream will capture it well. But for this specific clip, not the title, just the clip, we can increase the detail. Let's just bring it up. You can start to see things are getting sharper. I can even decrease the detail and make it like blurry looking. What does that look like when it's all blurry looking? Gives it a dreamy effect, right? Now we're on the next clip, and this doesn't have any color in it. So how do we transfer? Maybe we were happy with that color from that clip and we want to transfer it to all the other clips. Really easy. You select the source clip, Control C, and then select the clip that you want, and then do Control V. Look at that. Select all the other clips, do the same thing. Now, if you want to view everything in full screen mode, just press P. Okay, there you go. And last but not least, in any order that you want to do your editing, but for this video, last but not least, let's say you want to add music to your video and you want to adjust the sound, okay? And maybe you want to put a voiceover. So we'll do this right now, very quickly. So again, on your timeline, anywhere on any of these clips, especially edit and cut, go into your media pool, and do import media. And I'm going to import some music. And I did have some music from Skyrim. I'll put this piece of music in. Now you'll see right in the media pool the waveform pattern for that audio track. And I'm going to drag that on the very bottom of everything on my timeline. Looks like I have another audio track that's free, and I'll put it right here. Now by default, a lot of the music comes in really loud. So I click on the file that we just put on there, and I'm going to lower the volume in the inspector. So it's already showing up as inspector, and we're just going to scroll this down from 0 to maybe -20. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, we can't hear nothing. Let's increase it.
Hi everybody, what's going on? This is
Okay, so let's say you want to take all this piece of audio. Maybe you think it's too loud for all these pieces of all these clips here. You can select everything, right? And still decrease the volume of all those clips together.
Wilson. Today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to do, for the very first time, snowshoeing. And we're on the Sanford Springvale Rail Trail. You've probably seen this many times in my videos.
And we're back, guys. Now, you have the music track, and now you might be noticing, oh, things are not going with the music. So this is why I put a lot of music in my videos most of the time, because I like it. It just brings another dimension to videos, I think, when you're adding music in it. And you can make it flow with the music by timing it with certain beats. So let's just kind of go with the beat of the music. So I'm going to actually, like, say you don't want any sound from the car that you hear right here, right? You just want to hear the music. So what do? You select the clip, and you just turn the volume all the way down. And that's all you got to do.
Hi everybody, what's going on? This is Wilson.
Now, maybe you didn't like how sharp it came in for the second clip. Maybe that it was just too abrupt. Maybe you want a little bit of a fade in. You remember what we said before? You can fade in. So I'm going to fade into this clip with our audio.
Hi everybody, what's going on? This is Wilson. Today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to do, for the very first time, snowshoeing. And we're on the Sanford Springvale Rail Trail. You've probably seen this many times in my videos.
And we're back, guys. Now the next two clips, I don't think it really needs any atmospheric, or it doesn't need any sound from these clips. We just want to hear the music. So I'll select those clips, and I'm just going to turn all the volume down for each and every one of them and see what we got from that. And we're back, guys. Now this is the part of the song where it starts to change. It kind of feels different with the beat. So I'm going to make a cut there. I'm going to cut and select the track we don't need, and we're going to start off on the next beat with this water. So watch how it's timed. And we're back, guys. And then as you see, if you can hear it, the music changing, then switch to the next clip. You know what I'm saying? It's always helpful to, in my opinion, just film everything all at once and just let the camera run, depending on what you're doing. But just let the camera run, because there's so many things that could happen. You can tell a story just by doing whatever you do normally in your normal life if you're putting it together a video. And I'll put a title near the end that says "The End." Okay? The end. Okay, so sometimes the music surprises you too. Like, that part there in the music, I'll just stop it there. And I'm going to cut and delete the rest of the music. Okay, maybe we'll put a little bit of a fade. Fade and then a fade out on the title. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so now we have the colors and we have the titles, the music. I went over on the time. So let's do the exporting. So when we're going in the exporting, we go to the Deliver tab. And we're going to make a file name. We're going to call it, I'm going to call it Winter. Okay, we'll call it Winter. Upper left-hand corner. Location of this file name. So we'll go to Browse. And we can go to Desktop. and that's where it's going to be put. Now, it all depends if you have a good graphics card, but I have a 3080 Ti by NVIDIA, so I'm going to use my graphics card for this. But the format, I actually changed it to MP4. This is what I do. The codec, I leave it at H.264, where my mouse is at again. Encoder, I don't put it on auto. I put it on NVIDIA. So it's exclusively using my graphics card. And it's fast. It really is fast encoding. Frame rate, do not change. Quality, I would change. I would make it 3 times your frame rate. So it was 30, right? So 369. So our bit rate for this video for quality will be 90,000. You can up it, up it up a little bit more if you want to. Encoding profile, I wouldn't change. I have mine on auto. Everything else is normal except for we're going to go to the advanced settings where my mouse is at. Click. And we're going to see under advanced settings, gamma tag. This is important if you want your color grading in full effect on your video when it shows. Because there's so many videos I made that had color grading in it, and it didn't transfer over to the final result. If you go to gamma tag, select, especially if you're working with 4K footage, make sure you're selecting Rec 709-A. Again, that's Rec 709-A. Everything else is default, and I would just press the little button on the bottom that says Add to Render Queue. Right hand side, and you can't see it because my face is in the way. Right here, you're going to see the render queue. So you can render different jobs at a time. Maybe you'd want to render part of the video or small portions of it or the whole thing. You can select all this with the selector where my mouse is hovering on, and just press render all, and you can see it rendering. You see how much time's remaining, and boom, that's all done, and it's going to show you when it's complete. Then there's this little you press right click on the box and you can go to open file location. Oops, didn't pop up. There it is. And you can find where it was at, and we called it winter, and we can look at the final result here.
Hi everybody, what's going on? This is Wilson. Today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to do, for the very first time, snowshoeing. And we're on the Sanford Springvale Rail Trail. You've probably seen this many times in my videos.
And we're back, guys. That came out pretty good, actually, I think. So that's your first video. Again, it's all about tinkering and working with it and just, getting creative with it. Build up your assets that you're putting in your videos and save some of the assets like the graphics and, maybe you made a title sequence. Save all that stuff because you can use it in the future. And I think that's about it for this video, guys. So if you have any questions, if you want me to cover something about DaVinci Resolve Studio that I didn't go too much in detail about, let me know, and I can either research it if I do not know and then apply it for my own editing techniques and then make a video about it, or if I know about it, I'll make a video about it. Let me know, guys. Like and subscribe. My girlfriend just burped in the background, and you have a nice day.